and set that foundation and use systems like what Chris is doing to implement those will streamline the process for you to, first of all, build your business. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mortgage Influencers, where we bring you professionals who share insight into the latest trends, tips, industry technology, and services to help you be a mortgage influencer in your mortgage business.
Where was I yesterday? Tennessee.
And we're coming to you not from Tennessee. Okay, and we are live, and it is Wednesday. So welcome to another episode of Mortgage Influencers. My name's Ginger Bell. I have Steve Richmond with me today. Hello, Steve.
Hello,
Scott
everybody.
is traveling to Michigan to see his mama, so he's not going to be on our call today. But we have a guest who I'm excited, a repeat guest. You've been on with us before a couple times, but excited to have you share. And it's funny because when we were in the green room, before we got started, we were really talking about all the things that are happening with AI. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I want to introduce Chris Johnstone. He's the CEO, founder, president of Connections Incorporated. And Chris, I'm going to let you just hop right in, because the last time we were on, we were just talking about AI, and we're going to continue that conversation. So tell me, as far as a jumping off point, you're with AI. You've incorporated it with what you're doing. What are some of the things that you're doing in your business with AI, first and foremost? Are you there?
So, hey, everybody. And Ginger, thanks so much for having me on the show. I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
It looks like my internet connection just got a little bit sketchy there. So hopefully I'm back and everything is a-okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So we've been doing a 4-part series with Carl White and kind of releasing a video roughly every 4 or 5 days to like give people bite-sized chunks of things that they can learn about artificial intelligence and make those small steps in implementing it in the business. And the number one question that I've been getting is, how do I implement AI? Sorry, Ginger. It looks like you're frozen on my end.
It looks like you're frozen on our end, Mr. Chris.
So the perils of AI with an internet connection. So while Chris is getting back on, because I think maybe he had a disconnect with his internet. It's always one of those things, Steve, and I mean, it happens from time to time when we do get frozen with Zoom or whatever we're on. My hope is that it's always a freeze frame face, that it's not horrible. And Chris,
There's no such thing as a horrible freeze frame face with you, Ginger.
Oh, trust me, there is.
But we got Chris back. He's here, so let's get him.
Chris is back. Drum roll. Woo. So when we last left Chris, he was telling us about 4-part. I think it's been a 4-part. It sounds like maybe you're continuing on about a series that you're doing with Carl White, talking about AI. So let's dive in right there. So you did the first part. So tell me about
that we've been getting. Oh my goodness, Ginger, I am so sorry.
You're fine. We can hear you. Can you hear us? No?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. So hopefully the AI is listening and it doesn't want me giving away the secrets. So
that's it. It's like, it's stopping you from doing it. You're not going to tell it.
All right. Well, there's nothing I can do on my side. I'm connected. I've got 4 bars, so it is definitely a provider issue. So we'll work through it as best we can. But I apologize.
No worries.
So the number one question that I get is, how do I get started? It's so easy to get overwhelmed with artificial intelligence. There's hundreds of tools, new tools being released every single day. And basically people are saying, okay, I'm in the mortgage industry. How do I take AI and actually apply it to the mortgage business? There's a lot of overwhelm, and most people are just tuning out because they just like, this is too much. I'm gonna go do what I want to do.
Yep.
So we started with communication. And so what I did with Carl is we looked at the daily success plan within the mortgage marketing animals. And then we took artificial intelligence and we applied it to each of the success habits in the daily success plan.
So the activities that they do every day, Monday is doing the Thor's hammer calls, Tuesday is calling repeat clients. So taking that, and see, that's smart in doing that, Chris, because that is the thing, you know, if people, it is overwhelming. It's like, where do I start? I don't even know where to start at. You know, and one of my clients is RHMI, and they asked me a few months ago to start doing a series of webinars. It's like, can you do a webinar on AI? It's like, what do you want to know?
Right.
Where do you start? And yeah, in the mortgage industry, it's like, I mean, there's a ton of different things. So I think having that first and foremost, which Carl is so good at, is let's look at the activities. And so here's your activities you're doing right now. And this is the thing when you're looking at AI. It's like, okay, taking your activities, what can you do to layer AI into those activities, and how do you use them? So what am I doing currently? How can I leverage AI? And then what does that look like? And you've done the what does it look like? So what does that look like?
So what we did was we systemized each of those processes. So let's take the database, for example. And just because my connection is a little bit spotty here, the full 4-part training that's available for free is at aimortgagedeals.com. So aimortgagedeals.com, they can go get the videos. So just in case it's spotty here.
Perfect.
So we take the database and we say, listen, most people can only make 20 to 30 phone calls a day before they're burnt out on making the calls, or life happens and you actually have to go do the mortgage business, right?
Right.
And so what we did was we said, let's take this campaign, the proven email, proven text message, proven script, load it into a CRM, but then anytime anybody responds, we wrote a prompt. And it says, I'm a mortgage lender, I'm in this market, this is my website, these are all my socials, and we're reaching out to past clients with this template, and we want you to provide a response to all the communication that comes in. So anybody using a standard CRM can launch not just to 25 people in a day, you could touch 100 people a day, 150 people a day, 200 people a day, right? Drop them into the campaign. When the responses come back, you can filter them really quick. But what we did was we actually connected the CRM that we use to ChatGPT on the back end. So it automatically catches the messages, sends them into ChatGPT. ChatGPT has the prompt, spits the response back into the CRM, so that all you have to do is approve it, and then it goes out. And it doesn't even really have to be approved. The message itself can just go, and AI can have a conversation right inside the CRM. But a lot of people, we understand we're taking baby steps in the mortgage industry to implementing the technology. So we put a buffer on it. We said, okay, you're going to get an email or a text message every time, and it's going to say, here's what the client said, here's what ChatGPT said. If you approve it, click this link. And if they click the link, then it sends the message out to the client. So that's AI taking a process where everybody knows, like most people in the mortgage industry get the majority of their deals from referrals. So now we can touch 100 people instead of just 20 people per day. But now if you take that same mentality of, okay, AI allows me to scale almost infinitely by having a CRM in place, but powering that CRM with AI-based conversations. Well, now, if you think of a qualified real estate agent list, most people are only working a list of 30, some of the real go-getters have 40 people on their list. Because when you're making your weekly calls, you can only get through 40 calls and 40 emails and 40 messages out to those people. Well, now that AI has a system and a process to run it, you can have 250 or 300 or 400 qualified agents in your local marketplace. You can work them all at once. AI is writing all the emails and writing all the text messages and responding to everybody. and automatically booking appointments for you. So you can just go in and fill your calendar. AI is filling the calendar, and you are just actually showing up to the meetings with people that want to meet with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's back it up a little bit. Really two things here. So the first thing is client communication. And so the referral network, all of those. So if you've had your past database, your incoming database, be able to put that in there and have that go on a drip campaign. We lost him a minute, but I'll do a recap. So you have your referrals, goes into the CRM, you're sending out the drips, and then the chatbot will automatically look at the responses. So let's say, for example, I did business with Steve. Steve was my loan originator, and he implements this and starts it. I get an email and I say, oh, hey, I have Steve. You know what? My friend John is looking to buy a house in, South Carolina. And, I'm going to send him to you. So it sounds like what Chris is saying, and hopefully he gets back on here, is then the system through ChatGPT will automatically generate those responses saying, hey, Ginger, this is Steve. Thanks for reaching out. And by the way, I'll reach out to John, and thank you so much for the referral. So all of those things are automated then, which is huge, because when you think about our emails can get bogged down, and responding to people and making sure those systems are in place is important. And I love it. Honestly, it's one of those things that it's like the fact that AI came on, and it's been a year now with ChatGPT. We're coming up, November is the 1 year anniversary, but because we do have some time right now, and I always say, you know what, as loan originators, anyone in business, really, you need to think like a farmer. Farmer has seasons, right? And so, yeah, you need to think, now's when we're preparing our soil, we're planting our seeds, we're doing all those things. Right now, this is that time. We're in that time right now where everything you do right now and set that foundation and use systems like what Chris is doing to implement those will streamline the process for you to, first of all, build your business in a quicker, faster, more efficient way, which is so smart. And then the other thing is, when things do change in the industry, and I heard a staggering statistic this morning talking about consumer debt, and that we're at the highest that it's ever been. Interest rates for credit cards, the highest it's ever been, 21%. Crazy. So, it's like,
crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like we're getting set up again for one of those perfect storms. And so everything you do right now in your business, don't look away from things like what Chris is doing. Run into things that Chris is doing and implement them in your business right now. It's kind of like if you own a restaurant, you do the remodeling, put the new kitchen in, do those kind of things during the off season. So when the busy season comes, it's already done. Okay, so that's the first thing.
One of the things Chris said, and Chris, and then you're back. I mean, I'm excited to hear, because you had said it, and if I'm a newer user, you were like, well, you can review it and then send off the email, but you can also just have it automated. I would recommend to folks, if you're new to this, review it first. Mm-hmm. Get comfortable with it. See that it's giving the type of message that you want, that it's not missing any of the information. Because the more you play with it, the more comfortable you'll be with it, and the better it's going to work for you. Instead of the one time set it and forget it, step into it instead of just saying, okay, here's the end and let me go there. That would be a recommendation Chris, I don't know if that's what you're finding with folks, but I would throw that out there.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, and it learns too, right, Chris? Because that's the whole idea with an NLP, that it learns your language, it learns your voice over time. And so the more you do interact with it, the more that it will adjust to fine tune those comments, those changes, those remarks, and things like that. So that's the first part. The second part I love, because right now, what everyone needs to be doing is making calls to referral partners, whether it's your real estate agents, whether it's your financial planners, whether it's your CPAs, whatever that is, making those calls. And so walk us through that process and what that looks like.
So we call it the executive recruiter. And basically what we do is we go get a qualified list of real estate agents doing a certain amount of business. And then we load them into that list and we reach out to them in order to get them to book an appointment.
So it goes into the CRM.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Goes into the CRM, and then the CRM has a preset 8-week process that it goes through, where once a week it's reaching out.
Nice.
But if somebody responds back to it, that's where AI comes in and helps to handle those conversations. But what we've also discovered is that when you're getting those qualified lists of realtors, you can take that list or even work with ChatGPT to create your own list. You can go to ChatGPT, buy the $20 upgrade, and it searches the internet in real time. There's plugins where you can search Google through Keymate, or you can just use it to search Bing, and you can literally go and say, okay, find me the top 15 real estate agents in XYZ market. It'll come back with a list. Say, okay, great, find me all their social media information. Awesome, here's their Facebook, here's their LinkedIn, here's all their information. So you can enrich that data so much using AI. And the thing that I love about that is then you can take that same research thread, and it's not just realtors, it's financial planners, it's investment advisors, it's divorce attorneys, it's accountants. You talked about, consumer debt. Everybody should have a campaign that is reaching out to all of the tax advisors and the accountants saying, we can help your clients that have debt loads of consumer debt.
Got a question, Chris.
Yeah.
Use ChatGPT though. Are you talking ChatGPT or are you using a different one? Because you use ChatGPT, it only goes through, what's it now, like February?
No, that's changed. That's one of the, there's been, and yesterday was a huge change. I haven't been through all of everything that they've changed yet, Chris.
It's updated twice now for date.
Bing was in, Bing was out, Bing's back in now, but there's also plugins that you can use. And so what was the one that you mentioned, Chris?
Keymate.
So Keymate, yeah.
It allows you to search Google in real time. So AI does not, a lot of people think it's, September 2021.
Which was initially that. And so, yes. So Steve, to your point, we were limited. And I know Scott was using a combination of Google Bard and then chat and going back and forth. And so now that they have brought that to where you can actually search through Google, Bing has that in there through, Keymate. So you can get live data now and utilize that live data.
Yeah. So cool for research. But what it allows you to do is it allows you to, rather than just going after 30 real estate agents, you can go after 100. And we have a program called the Concierge. And our concierge agents are now AI powered. So what we do is we get lists of people. It's a funnel, and all it is math. Like Ginger, to your point of people having a little bit of time on their hands, that's just because they're not filling the top of the funnel.
Right.
If you make 115 phone calls a day, you will speak to 30 real estate agents and you will book 5 appointments. It's math, and anybody can do it. Right. The problem is I'm not going to make 115 cold calls a day. You know what I mean? It's like, there's just, that phone is 20,000 pounds, and it takes a very specific individual that can show up and make 115 outbound phone calls. But then you've also got to do the 5 appointments a day. So we know we have had concierge agents for years, and the math is, that's it. Like, they make roughly 120 phone calls a day. They'll speak to an average of 30 people, and they book on average 5 appointments a day with qualified real estate agents that are willing to take a shot with another lender and meet with another lender.
So what you're telling me and what I'm hearing is you have a system in place. The system works with either the CRM that you use or an existing CRM. You have a list. They can also do research on the list, combine things like that together. And they don't even have to make the phone calls. You actually have a team that knows how to make those phone calls.
Yes, but I'm not here trying to pitch our
So that's
concierge.
okay. But here's the thing, and I'm fine with it, because right now, and you made the point, it's like when you're doing what you need to do, guess what happens? You fill that pipeline, and then that problem of not being busy is that you are busy. And I know that you have clients that are using this, and so I know you speak from success to that. And I do love the fact, Chris, and that's one of the things, it's like you're very humble, you're very much an educator. And so having a resource, and I think that's what's important, why we started this, is to be able to have those resources. Whether you utilize Chris and his company and what he does, that's fine, not whatever. The main thing is you need to be aware of what's happening, and you need to find out what that is. So the phone calls are made, whether you're making them, and that's the thing. So it's like, let's say, okay, I'm going to do this myself, I'm going to put it into the CRM, but at least you're touching them. So even if you can't make 150 phone calls, that you are having a touch with them, right?
Yep, that's right. And once a week. And, to be completely candid, most people don't make the calls, but people send the emails and send the outreach. And when the time is right, it's just about having as many numbers as possible in the top of the funnel so that you get the output out the bottom end of the funnel. And AI allows you to scale at an incredible rate right now, with it responding to all of the messages and helping make sure that you've got the right people on the list. So going out and just booking cold appointments with realtors with an offer to convert. So we'll skip over the offer conversation, because I want to focus in on something where I've seen a real impact in just a very short period of time with some of the people that we're working with in our inner circle that are actually implementing artificial intelligence. And it's the past customer database, getting 5-star reviews on Google, working to rank that page on Google, getting those inbound phone calls. But look at all of the referral professionals that have sent you business in the last 2 years. Of the polls that I've put out inside our communities, it's 80-20. 20% of the mortgage professionals are actually following a process to stay in touch with people that already know them, like them, trust them, have sent them business, done business with them, and just aren't sending them business just because they haven't reached out.
Right.
That is low-hanging fruit for every single person watching this. Every single one of us has referral partners out there that have deals to send to us that we've just fallen out of touch with. But human nature is we get all these stories in our heads like, oh, if I call them, it'll be weird. I haven't talked to them in 4 months. When you load into a campaign powered by AI, there is no call reluctance. There is no hesitation. The system does the work. It never calls in sick. It never has a bad day. It never forgets what you've taught it. It is always there working in your business, and it will if you need that outreach every Tuesday, it will happen every Tuesday. It's like in the mortgage industry up until this point, the top producers and the people that are ultimately very, very successful are the people that show up and do the same thing every day on the same day, and it's the same week. They show up, they dedicate 3 hours of their day every day, or maybe even an hour a day to do the success activities, and everything else comes from that. Now, artificial intelligence has made it so that a loan officer that does the work once, if you can set the campaign up once, write the emails and the text messages once, hit the launch button once, and just continue to put new opportunities and new contacts into the top of funnels, you can have an AI robot that's doing the things that you know you should be doing, but actually doing them consistently and using the right process. And that's the power of AI that I think is going to totally transform the mortgage industry.
So let's talk about referrals for a little bit, because your customer, and we always know, and I don't know what the statistics are, I could make something up probably, maybe it's like, but it is much easier to get a repeat customer or a referral customer than it is to get a brand new customer. And so and you have databases, every single one of you have past business, and so that's the gold. So it's a matter of how you're going to mine that gold, and getting the referrals and getting the reviews and combining that together to where, you're doing that is so smart. And it's smart because Google's had a recent change, what used to be called the leader of the pack as far as Google searches, where now this is changed completely based on a lot with reviews. So we have 5 minutes, and I don't know if you can walk through that process in 5 minutes. The other thing, and I want to stop for just a second before you go, is like, guys, I don't want you to get the deer in the headlights. I don't want you to close down on this. Okay. So for those of you, and we have a large audience watching us on Facebook, we have our group that's in, we always, post a copy of this so people will watch later, but pick one thing. Just pick one thing that you're going to say, I'm going to do this one thing right now. What would that one thing be, Chris, that would be the easiest, that would move the needle for them, that if they said, okay, I'm going to do one thing each month, what would that one thing be? Where would they start?
The first is the database.
Okay.
The second is referral partners that have already sent them business. The third is your list of pre-approved and lookings. That's like absolute low-hanging fruit in the business for everybody. But here's what is the real thing, okay? So, Ginger, a year from today, there's going to be two types of people in the mortgage business. There's going to be people that are AI powered, and then there's people that are trying to catch those people that are AI powered. That's going to be the industry. AI has already fully funded a mortgage process with no people involved in it whatsoever.
What?
Like all the way from an application to a funded deal. So Google it. The world's first home purchase and mortgage fully funded by AI has been done.
Wow.
And OpenAI, the company that owns ChatGPT, announced at their developer conference on Monday that corporations can now go to OpenAI and get their own company-specific version of ChatGPT. So all of the privacy concerns, I should say all, but some of the privacy concerns are taken care of. But you can now use the brain of ChatGPT to build automations that are 100% specific to your business. So if you're in the mortgage industry and you don't think that that's going to replace underwriting, you just haven't played with artificial intelligence enough.
And that is happening so much. To your point, we have a friend who was over the other day, and she's an accountant for Price Waterhouse, and they just got the Chat Enterprise Edition. Yep. And so she was so excited because they hadn't been able to use it before, technically. And now it does that. So it's like they have their own, it'll be their own interface. And it's a big, like she's a forensic accountant. And so it's like, I mean, so much information that they're going to be able to put in there, to share in there, that all of those things. And what we're seeing that's happening, it's crazy fast. And I mean, it's like, yes, your mind is spinning, I know, but don't walk away from this. And don't let the fear of, oh my gosh, it's going to replace us. It may replace the process, but it will not replace that human interaction, the answering the questions, the education, those kind of things.
That's it. And a great place to start on that is AImortgagedeals.com, because it takes it from AI as a general concept to directly applicable to your mortgage business and to do what to do right now. So if they go to AImortgagedeals.com, they opt in. There's an incredible 4-part video series that's available for them there to watch.
So that's different than the AI mortgage videos.
So same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, same thing. Sorry, Steve, you had something to add there.
No, I was just, Ginger, we had a guest the other week, and this is what they said, and it's exactly what you're saying right there. AI is not going to replace the people, but the people who use AI are going to replace the people that do not use AI.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's one of those things where our job as mortgage professionals is to bring in loans. And the people that are powered by AI that are focused on doing that are going to be the ones that process far more loans and do more business and grow and take market share and do all of those wonderful things. The processing side of things just allows you to, do you remember in the refinance boom when the largest problem that we all had was we couldn't get enough processing power to bring in the deals that we could bring in the front end? That's the problem we're going to solve. And so the winners are the people that can do the front end of bringing in the mortgage loans. Right. And it's the loan officers that figure out that component, how to apply AI to bringing in more mortgage applications. Those are going to be the winners in the future, I think.
And looking for tools like what you're doing and how to streamline those process is where it begins. And so looking at, okay, what can I do? Again, right now, this is when you should do it, not later, not when it's like, oh, I'll wait until next year. But right now to say, hey, I put this in place right now. I'm going to learn it. I'm going to expand on it. And I'm going to look at other ways to add to it. So 6 months, a year down the road, that's done. And you're going to be like, man, I'm so glad. Don't get left behind. I mean, it's one of those things, right? Okay, so we are at the top of the hour. And so we're going to, Chris, you got to, I mean, it's like you're going to be a regular guest here. It's like if we can get you to join us once a month, I know that our community would just definitely love it because you have so much to offer, and we can look at different things as far as maybe diving into a little bit, because one of the things that you said that I was very interested in exploring is being able to enhance on those lists for realtors. So being able to find information about them, their social media, and then what you do with that. So I think that that can be something maybe in 2024, it's hard to believe, that we can start exploring. So remind me again, you guys, if you want to get the 4-part series that Chris has done with Carl, then you can go to AI Mortgage Videos or AI Mortgage Deals. Is that right?
It's AIMortgageDeals.com.
Okay. AIMortgageDeals.com. So go to AIMortgageDeals.com. There's a 4-part series. I've started watching it. It's amazing. I mean, Carl White, it's like, he is so amazing. Just how his mind works to be able to think of streamlining processes, which he has with his system, but then layering that in. So I'm so glad the two of you have come together to be able to offer this solution. So Chris, thank you so much. Always good to see you, my friend.
Always good to see you as well. And thank you everybody for watching. And Steve, a pleasure to meet you. And I'm looking forward to getting to know you better as well.
Perfect.
Have a great day, everybody.
Good. So if you're following along, so next week, guys, we have Ethan Butte. And Ethan used to be with BombBomb and now is with another company. And so he's going to tell us a little bit about that and some of the things that they can do to help you in your process as well. So have a great week. Make sure to go to AIMortgageDeals.com and watch that series. And Chris, thanks so much.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.